by Assemblymember Calderon. And just for witnesses in support and opposition, up to 2 minutes for this bill. Senator Calderon, welcome. Please feel free to present whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Today I'm here to present AB 199, the California Online Notarization Act of 2019. Now, I don't know if you guys know the last time you had to use a notary, but I remember the last time I had to use a notary, and it was just last year. So as you know, when we file for office, you have to have your papers notarized in order to file that. You could do that at the county, or if you can't go make it down to the county registrar's office, you have to have a notary come meet up and watch you sign the paper and authorize it. Well, that was my situation, and when I did that, the only time I could do it that met up with the time with the notary that I was going to use was when my wife picked me up from the airport after flying home after session, so that I could go with her to her hair appointment so that I can watch, at the time, our 8-month-old, because she didn't have anybody to watch her and I was coming in and her mom couldn't help. And so while my wife was getting her hair done, I had to then go into a hotel that was next to her hair salon, meet with the notary, and have her watch me sign the papers and notarize the papers to verify that I am who I say I am, and that was my last experience that I had with a notary. So, but technology and the internet have simplified most electronic transactions. For example, consumers can now safely and securely apply for mortgages online, provide documentation through web portals or smartphones, and check the status of their application all over the internet. But when it comes to notarizer documents, Californians are required to meet in person with a notary or invite a mobile notary into their home, which can be time-consuming and burdensome. What this bill does is it updates this antiquated system by authorizing remote online notarization in California. This measure permits an online notary approved by the Secretary of State to notarize a document with an individual who appears before the notary by secure two-way interactive video and audio and video communications. The bill directs the Secretary of State to draft regulations to implement the law. Currently, 16 states have enacted laws permitting remote online notarization. California needs to keep up with this 21st century innovation. We're the tech capital of the world. There's no excuse for us not to be able to do this and have this implemented and be able to figure this out. And as we continue to move through the legislative process, I look forward to continuing to work with stakeholders to implement this new technology in a safe, secure, and consumer-friendly way and ensure the use of the safe, new emerging technologies are not hindered. So I respectfully ask for an aye vote. And of course, appreciate the committee's time and help, as well as we'll always commit to continuing to work with any opposition to resolve any issues, because I do believe that this is important enough to figure out. Here with me to speak in support are Bill Anderson, who is the Vice President of Government Affairs at the National Notary Association, and Pat Zenzola, representing the California Mortgage Banker Association.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I am Bill Anderson, Vice President at the National Notary Association. The NNA, which is based in Chatsworth, California, serves California's 166,000 notaries public with membership and information services, training courses, bonds, insurance, and notary supplies. 15 states have enacted online notarization so far, including 5 just in this year alone. 22 states have introduced bills just like AB 199 in this legislative session. Real-life deployments have demonstrated that online notarization preserves the integrity of the Notarial Act and incorporates important safeguards that make online notarization secure. Let me give you some examples. First, the customer must have their identity vetted by answering challenge questions, the answers to which only the customer would know. Secondly, the customer must have their ID analyzed to ensure it's genuine. Thirdly, an audio and video recording of the Online Notarial Act must be kept, allowing anyone to verify the Online Act after the fact. And fourth, the online notary must affix the online notary's electronic signature and seal with a technology that will display tampering with or changes to any document after it's signed. As the Assembly member pointed out, AB 199 makes it more convenient to access a notary wherever and whenever you want. The NNA will work with the author and any stakeholders on any issues that remain to ensure that the Online Notary Act of 2019 protects the public and all who rely on notarial services in California and serves the needs of notaries public who will perform online notarizations. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, committee members, my name is Pat Zenzala. I'm with KP Public Affairs, and I'm here on behalf of the California Mortgage Bankers Association. The California Mortgage Bankers Association supports AB 199 because remote online notarization will update and make more convenient mortgage transactions for consumers, for notaries, and for lenders, while also ensuring the necessary authentication and security. The mortgage industry is shifting from an in-person, heavy paper process to a more streamlined, consumer-friendly, technology-driven process. And the next step in doing that is to improve closings through remote online notarization, or RON. RON would allow consumers and the notary to be in different locations and still safely sign documents electronically. So the process for mortgages is becoming more technology driven, but when you get to the notarization part of the process, it's like going back in a time machine. At that point, you're either, as Assemblyman Calderon mentioned, either heading to meet a notary or a notary's coming to you, while the rest of the mortgage process is kept up with the times, the closing has not. For this reason, we support the bill and look forward to working with the stakeholders.
Thank you very much. Any additional witnesses wishing to speak in support, please feel free to come to the microphone, name and affiliation if you wish to do so.
Mr. Chair and members, Mike Belote for the California Escrow Association in support.
Good morning, Anna Buck on behalf of the California Association of Realtors in support.
Good morning, Emily Pappas on behalf of Notarize in support.
Good morning, Chair and members. Naomi Padron with McHugh Kapke and Associates on behalf of the California Credit Union League in support.
Good morning. My name is Terry Van Bibber, CEO of SafeDocs, and we're here to support.
Thank you very much. Any additional witnesses wishing to speak in support? Seeing none, any witnesses wishing to speak in opposition, please feel free to come up to the table here. And again, we'll allow up to 3 minutes in total for your testimony. Please feel free to present whenever you're ready.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members, and Assemblyman Calderon. My name is Matt Miller. I'm an active California Notary Public and the organizer of proposed AB 199. I'm here today representing independent notaries in respectful opposition all over our state. We're not here to stand in the way of progress, but we believe this bill as written contradicts with current code and will put notaries and the public at large directly into harm's way. 2 points of concern I want to share with you today are data privacy concerns and liability issues. Currently, information collected in a notarial transaction is a written process and is maintained exclusively by the notary and never shared or put on the internet and sold. This data is kept by the notary until retirement or death, upon which time is surrendered to the county clerk for recording. As described in Article 2, Section 8231.6, this bill states that an online notary public shall keep an electronic journal and record each online notary act performed, including identity information, signatures, and physical location of the principal. Also, the principal must upload a copy of every document being notarized to the online notary's platform. However, this bill contains no language that protects the principal's or notary's data from being mined, shared, or sold by the handful of technology companies hosting the online platforms required by this bill. Nor does this bill address data breaches, outages, or data losses. This bill also does not direct the length of time electronic transactional data must be stored. In regards to excessive liability issues, according to Article 2, Section 8231.5, this bill states that an online notary public may perform an online notarization for a principal located anywhere on the planet if the online notary has no knowledge that the Notary Act is prohibited in the jurisdiction in which the principal is located at the time of the notarization. So, AB 199 imposes an impossible new duty upon notaries to confirm the location of the remote signer and to know the notarial laws of all 50 states and 195 sovereign states on the globe. In the state of Iowa, for example, the law includes a provision that states notarizations performed in another state will only be recognized if the signer is physically located before or physically appeared before the notary. So ultimately, this bill will create liability issues for notaries notarizing documents without being able to ensure the location of the principal and what notarial acts are prohibited in the jurisdiction where the principal is physically located. Members, these are just a couple of our many concerns. The Secretary of State, to whom all 166,000 California notary publics are accountable, was opposed to this same bill in the last session for multiple concerns other than our own. Despite having multiple conversations with the author's office and this committee, there have been no amendments to date. So, Mr. Chairman, we respectfully ask that you table this bill today so that stakeholders and notaries can work together with the author to craft a better bill that protects data privacy and aligns with current notarial code. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members, and Assemblyman Cauldron. I appreciate your time and will now yield the floor so that other folks in opposition can make their voices heard.
Great, 15 seconds left.
Mr. Lowe, this is Ron Kingston. I represent the Escrow Institute of California. We are principally concerned about one thing. When we see an irregularity in a notarized document, we won't know the enforcement entity, because if it was if the notary was recorded in Connecticut, for example, no DA, no enforcement arm will go there. We would like to work with Mr. Calderon. We have met with him, his staff. We recognize the bill should go out of committee today, and the amendments are really critically necessary, as been outlined in our letter, and I know I need to.
Thank you very much. Did you have any just summary did you?
I have a statement. I'm a California notary. It'll take less than a minute.
Okay, can you do it in 15 seconds?
I'll try.
Please, just 15 seconds, please.
The Notarial Act is all about fraud prevention. Personal appearance is the cornerstone for the prevention of fraud during a notarial act, and we do that through the following means. We touch the signer's identification and compare the ID to the person before us, and more importantly, we look at and talk to the person to assess willingness and determine mental capacity during the notarial act. If needed, we ask others to leave the room to do this. This cannot be reliably accomplished remotely. Deepfake video technology is real, steadily advancing, and of deep concern. So the terms remote and notarization are mutually exclusive.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We want to be fair with everyone's time. Now, additional witnesses wishing to speak in the opposition, name and affiliation if you wish to do so.
Hi, my name is Terry Gillette, and I'm a full-time professional notary in Marin County. I oppose this bill as it's currently written for many reasons, but uppermost is the lack of security for the documents that run through the online provider. The next time you or perhaps one of your kids buys or refinances a home, all the information on your loan application will not be secure because there's no accountability through the process for the security. It's not just your bank balances on your accounts, but also your account numbers. It's not just the credit card balances, but your credit card numbers. It's not just your house address, it's all the addresses for the property that you own, social security number, monthly income, etc. I respectfully ask you to vote no on this bill.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I am Eva Torres, a notary public, specifically a loan signing agent. I oppose this bill as written. The notary public gives an oath to follow the laws as written and accepts consequences if he or she fails in those duties. I am a notary public, an expert loan signing agent, and I understand the need to streamline the mortgage industry, but I can assure you that the notary is not the bottleneck. The actual last process of closing, that is actually not where the bottleneck is. So the bill as written, I oppose so that it can be rewritten with the help of actual notaries doing the closing.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Sandra Winters, and I am a notary public and a notary signing agent. I understand what the bill is trying to accomplish, but I have done 32 years with the state of California. I'm retired now, but I was a contract manager, and I did do multi-million-dollar IT contracts. So I understand how it's important for California to stay up on technology. However, I am opposed to this bill because I feel that it's not protecting the customer that we serve, and also for the notary. When the notary notarizes, we have to make sure that the person is who they say they are, even if we use a black light against the flashlight, against their ID card, to make sure that they are who they are. We also take classes to make sure that we identify the people properly, and without this, I think it's a huge liability for the notaries, and you'll start having notaries drop out.
Thank you very
Again,
much.
thank you.
Any additional witnesses wishing to speak in opposition? Yes, please, if you could please come up to the microphone.
My name is Frank Tabak, and I'm a California notary public. I oppose this bill as it is written because every notary public would have to know all the notary laws in all 50 states. Do all attorneys in each state or all CPAs in each state know all the laws in all 50 states? No, they don't. So why should we be required to?
Thank you very much. Any additional witnesses?
Hello, my name is Jennifer Hennerlaw, and I'm a notary public and a loan signing agent, and I oppose this bill. I believe that one of the primary duties of a notary is to meet with the person face to face and also to see their ID in person, and this bill would take away that possibility. I oppose 199.
Thank you very much.
Tiffany Mock on behalf of Secretary of State Alex Padilla. We're a tweener. We just wanted to thank the members so much for all their hard work, the stakeholders, and we had concerns last year that we stated in a letter, but out of respect to the very genuine, earnest, and visionary view that the author has for the intent of the bill, we have no formal position at this time.
Thank you very much. Any additional witnesses wishing to speak in opposition? Yes, please feel free to line up in an appropriate fashion. If there's anybody else wishing to speak in opposition, please line up. So this is the final person. If I don't see anybody else, please go ahead.
I'm Andrea, and I am a notary public, and I oppose this bill because it would just make it too easy for people to try to manipulate the system via being not fully verified in person. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we'll go to questions or comments from committee members. Any questions or comments from committee members? I'll say this one more time. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition, please line up now. Seeing none, we have a final person speaking in opposition. Go ahead.
Thank you for your time. My name is Suzanne. I'm the owner of Sealed with Integrity. I am in opposition of this bill as it is currently written, as it does not support those of us that depend on this as our primary source of income, to have the technologies to be able to protect our clients and to protect the public under the oath that we have taken as notaries public. It does not support the technologies that are required are not in reach of those small business owners, and I think it would be an impact to our economy in a negative way. So at this time, I do oppose this bill.
Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who's come to the State Capitol to provide your testimony. Now, bringing the conversation back to the BMP committee, any questions or comments from committee members at this time? Seeing no questions or comments from committee members at this time, we currently are not able to take a vote due to lack of a quorum. But Assemblyman Calderon, do you wish to close?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I just want to address a couple things. You know, when California, we have the California Consumer Privacy Act, and it becomes effective January 1st of 2020. And with that law, California will lead the nation in standards for data security. This landmark legislation requires data to be encrypted and kept safe, and in the event of a breach requires notification and very strong remedies. This bill requires the notary to perform the act within their commissioning jurisdiction. In accordance with California's laws and subject to California's regulation and supervision, much as they are allowed to do in the traditional paper notary act. So there is no issue of a notary trying to perform an act in another jurisdiction. And finally, this bill requires the journal be kept under similar standards to paper notaries, including it be kept under the exclusive control of an individual notary and given to a county clerk at the termination of their commission. However, the practical security aspects of online performance could necessitate having a separate journal for each platform, which is something we will allow the notary to decide for themselves. You know, this bill is about choice. Nobody's going to be required to use an online notary. It's up to the individual to make that choice. Change is difficult. Every time we try to do something new, we get pushback. I understand it. Opposition from notaries today. There are 16 other states that currently do this. Not one position of anybody that came forward did anybody say from any one of those 16 states that something wrong happened or that something bad happened. So why is it that it can be done right in 16 other states, but all of a sudden when we try to do this in California, it's going to be something that's impossible? So, you know, when I met with Mr. Padilla, we had a lot of conversations. His concerns were more focused on the cost and implementation, which we're continuing to work with his office on, and have a great working relationship. So I'm very confident that we'll be able to get to a amenable position with him. And then also, when it comes to not caring about the notaries and their business, I absolutely disagree. This is about access, and going online is going to provide for new business, new access, making this more accessible to more people, which I think will beget more clients. And so with that, I respectfully ask for an aye vote on AB 199.
Thank you very much, Majority Leader Calderon. Similarly, I know that you have articulated to our committee the utilization of remote notarization and the utility of newer technologies that exist to actually encourage much of the job creation in the state of California as well too. You've also stated publicly that you're willing to work with opposition as the bill should it continue to move forward. So appreciate the public acknowledgement as well too. So having said that, we are acting as a subcommittee right now, and we'll take up the bill when we have established a quorum.
Thank you, members.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on then to file item number 3, which is by Assemblymember Gabriel. This is Assembly Bill 387,